If you're an F1 fan, logically at some point you might want to go to a race. And for me, living in the UK, the most logical choice is Silverstone. Or is it? Formula One is a billion-dollar sport generating obscene amounts of money, and we now race at tracks like Miami, Saudi Arabia, with other tracks like Las Vegas coming up on the calendar. One of the best races you can probably go and attend in terms of a racing circuit is Silverstone. But is it the most affordable? Well, no. In 2020, the price for a 3-day weekend ticket was £195. In 2021, the general admission price went up to £200. Not too bad, only £5 more for a 3-day weekend. Then in 2022, the price shot up to £319 before reaching £340 this year. Just to be clear, those ticket prices are just for general admission. If you want to get one of the really nice tickets that gives you grandstand access, one of the really nice places to watch on track, you're going to need to spend a little bit more. Let's say you want to go to Abbey, one of the famous grandstands at Silverstone. Well, that's going to set you back £799 for the weekend. And I haven't even mentioned the dynamic ticket prices. The Silverstone circuit angered fans this year by having a dynamic pricing system whereby every 90 seconds the ticket prices would increase based on demand and how many people were waiting online to buy tickets. This meant that the first person to buy a ticket would have paid significantly less than one of the last people, which means that some people will have got the tickets for less than the displayed price, as they started fairly low, but others will have paid well over the listed price, which hardly seems fair. At least camping's included in your ticket price, because that would be... No. Camping isn't included, that's an extra £119. So assuming you have purchased the cheapest ticket possible, that only grants you general admission, and the viewing areas are not the best for general admission, but let's just assume you got the standard price and didn't get stung by the dynamic pricing. That means you're going to have to shell out a minimum of £468 before anything else. Some people may choose to stay in a hotel, but I'll be honest, there isn't that much available around the circuit, but there are local campsites other than the official ones that offer cheaper camping over a Silverstone weekend. I suppose that may sound fine to some and expensive to others. For me, it's not so much about the price or what it currently is, it's about how much it's increased. Of course, we're not also including any expenses, and you're there for 3 days, so you're going to need supplies. It's also not including any travel costs such as fuel or train tickets. You're easily looking at another £200 or so that's creeping up to £700 for the weekend. I'd argue that's out of the reach of most people, although you could also argue it's a one-off event that people look forward to, they save for it, and so it's within the wheelhouse of affordability. I just feel that F1 and the people running F1 and running the circuits are so out of touch with the actual Formula One fans, and nothing makes that more apparent to me than the Silverstone Escapade project. So what is Escapade? Well, they're building houses essentially on the outside of Maggotts and Beckett's that start at £850,000 going up to a whopping £2 million. And here's the real kicker, you can't even live in them. They're classed as part of Silverstone's hospitality, and as such they're fully managed by the Silverstone circuit. It gets even worse though. As I mentioned, you can't live in them, and in total you can only stay in them for 30 nights, multiplied by the amount of bedrooms your property has. Go beyond that, and you have to pay a rate to stay in your own property. Oh, and if you stay over an F1 weekend, one night counts as 5 of your allowed nights. I think the idea of this is that when you're not in it, it's obviously leased out, rented out other people, so you'll get a passive income from it. But the biggest problem I have with this is where it's located. It's located at a prime position for a grandstand. It's situated at Maggotts and Beckett's, one of the most exciting parts of the track where real fans, more fans, would come and watch the racing. But instead of building a grandstand so people can enjoy racing, they've built houses that they can get £850 or £2 million off the rich and famous. It just feels a little bit out of touch, especially when you consider the general admission ticket price has almost doubled over the last 3 years. You could play devil's advocate, I suppose, and say, well, this is a way the circuit's generating money. Okay, I take that on board. But where are they getting the money in the first place to build these properties? The fans. So it's a circle. It's a big old circle here. They're not just building these out of thin air. I should probably also mention, though, that the BDRC, who are the owners of Silverstone, say they haven't made a profit from F1 in over 40 years. And you may not know this, but Silverstone needs to pay Formula One $20 million each year for the privilege of hosting the race. Combined with new grandstands at Abbey, Luffield, Chapel, and various improvements to camping and catering, the money has to come from somewhere, and it is the fans. Does the average fan that wants to go to Silverstone and watch a race benefit from the Escapade project? Do they benefit from the rich and famous buying a house that they can't even live in for more than 30 days a year? Well, no, they don't. But Silverstone obviously are going to generate money from it because people will buy them. We know that. I appreciate that costs have gone up across the board the last few years. Transport, utilities, food, everything has increased for businesses and homes. I still don't feel, though, that Silverstone is affordable anymore for the average fan. And that's a shame to me. I feel as though F1 has outpriced the average fan, and yet, in 2022, over 400,000 fans attended Silverstone for the race weekend. So people are buying tickets, so what do I know?